Hello, everybody. I'm Dennis Prager with Fireside Chat number very high.
350.
Thank you. 350. Oh, that's a milestone. Wow. Wouldn't you know it, on the 350th, a truly dramatic event has taken place in the United States of America and reverberated internationally. But first, I just want to remind you that everything we do at PragerU is free, and that obviously includes the Fireside Chat. And you can directly support the Fireside Chat's availability to the world. And world is really accurate. We have questions today from what? India, Iran, Israel, Mexico, and even parts of America. So I would ask you to consider joining Prager United, and it's also terrific for you because you get a whole slew of benefits when you do so. So go to PragerUnited.com and see what you would like to do, if anything, and I appreciate it. Supporting good stuff is a big deal in life. Okay, so guess what I'm going to be talking about in my opening comments. Normally you can't guess because it's very rarely tied directly to the news or something happening. But in this case, where we have just witnessed the attempted assassination of a former president and presidential candidate nominee for the office, that's a rather important subject. So my take on issues is always, as you know, the broad picture and the philosophic one. And there are obvious political elements, but I want to deal with a few of the larger elements to begin with. And I'll begin with something especially dedicated to those of you who are young. By young, I mean, let's say under 25 or under even perhaps 30. Both as regards the United States and virtually every country in the world. This is not the first assassination, or in this case, attempted assassination of an American leader. Abraham Lincoln, the greatest president alongside George Washington, was assassinated. James Garfield, another president, was assassinated, and it wasn't even a political issue then. It was a strange guy who was angry at the president, then James Garfield, who was a wonderful man, by the way, for not getting him a job in the government. I mean, it's beyond belief. And the poor president lingered on because doctors in those days basically did harm. They did more harm than good. You were very lucky if no doctor attended you. They tried to get the bullet out and they would stick their dirty fingers into his body where the holes were, which of course created an infection, but they never heard of infection. They didn't even know about germs. And so the poor president, who might have actually survived if doctors had not infected him, lingered in pain and finally died. But that was one. And then James, what was McKinley's first name? William McKinley. President William McKinley was assassinated. Then Teddy Roosevelt became a president as a result of that. And John F. Kennedy was assassinated in 1963, and Martin Luther King was assassinated, and Bobby Kennedy, John Kennedy's younger brother, who was running for president for the nomination of the Democratic Party and probably would have gotten it. I mean, so what is my point? My point is, you need to understand, and very few young people do. Indeed, very few people, not just young, very few people do, period. When you grow up in a country like the United States, where things for most people are relatively remarkably good, financially, freedom-wise, opportunity-wise. This is why so many in the world have wanted to move to the United States. You start taking it for granted, and then you're shocked when evil takes place. All right, I want to remind you that the rest of this fireside chat is at PragerU.com. PragerU is where we do it because we don't trust big tech. We assume that one day they could just pull the plug and then you will be lost without us, we will be lost without you. So we'd ask you to actually start watching the fireside chat directly at PragerU. It's the easiest for you. And the easiest way to do that is to get the PragerU app. In any event, the rest of this fireside chat is at PragerU.com. See you there.